There's a window in the Denver market that agents know about and almost nobody else pays attention to. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now here's the crazy part. When agents talk about this stuff, nobody listens because everyone assumes that we're just trying to sell them something. But that's not what this is. Today, I'm going to pull back the curtain for you guys because these are the industry secrets that most people aren't paying attention to. Look, in June 2026, the Denver Metro closed with 12,861 active homes. I pulled the data myself, and about 3 to 4 months of inventory. In plain English, that's the most room buyers have had to work with in years. But timing changes everything. What you compete against, what you can negotiate, even what you spend before closing. Someone on my team saw rental prices nearly double just because of the time of year. And this year alone, I watched one of my own buyers lose a home over exactly this. I'll tell you that story in a minute because it proves the timing is real. So stick with me, and by the end of the video, I'll give you the exact window that I would target if I was buying a home here in Colorado. After more than a decade in Denver real estate, I've seen this market feel completely different depending on the month. When the market's moving fast, buyers have to make decisions quicker. You see a house you like, you might have a day or two to decide whether you're writing an offer. When it's calmer, you get more room to breathe. You can review the condition, study the payment, and work through the terms carefully. So here's how I actually read the year. 3 things. First one is inventory. The big metro-wide number gives you the broad view, but the real question is simpler than that. How many homes actually match your criteria, your price range, and your type of home? Second, we look at how fast homes are selling. In June 2026, single-family homes in the Denver metro market were averaging 34 days on market. Attached homes, condos, and townhomes average 52 days on market. Now here's why you care. That number tells you how much competition you're up against and how much time you have to make a decision. At 34 days, you got some breathing room on houses, but the well-priced ones still move quick. Now at 52 days on the condo side, you've got even more time and even more leverage, even in the exact same month. Third thing we look at is the deal itself. A house that's been on the market longer gives you a better opportunity to negotiate the terms, the inspection items, and the price. Now, sellers aren't throwing in a fully furnished home because the place sat another week, but that extra time on market absolutely changes the conversation. Those 3 things, inventory, speed, and the deal, tell you how much urgency you're walking into and how much leverage you'll have when you write the offer. My name is Patrick Laurienti. I'm a local realtor here in Denver area, and my team helps folks understand the market, narrow down communities, and pick a timeline that fits their situation. So call, text, or email us. Our contact is down below in the description or on the screen. Now, sometimes the strongest opportunity shows up after most of the activity has already faded. Once October hits, fewer people are out touring, holiday plans are taking over, and homes start to sit longer, waiting for the right offer. In October 2025, homes in the Denver metro were averaging 50 days on market. And by December, that number had climbed to 63 days. And here's the number that really tells the story. In October, about 4,400 new homes hit the market, but in December, only around 1,700. That's a drop of more than 60%. Here's what this actually means. From October to December, the market significantly cools down, and that opens up one of the best buying windows we see in the entire year. And let me prove that window is real with a story from this year that still kind of stings. One of my clients went to offer on a home in February, amazing home. They absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, it had multiple offers, and we ended up getting outbid in the process. And here's the crazy part. That exact same home was for sale in November and December of 2025, and it didn't get a single offer, not one. Same house, same market. In December, a buyer could have walked in with 0 competition and probably negotiated on top of it. By February, bidding war. Just goes to show you that timing is real, because when you have a home that's been sitting, you've got room to negotiate. And that might be inspection concerns, that might be the seller helping pay your closing costs, or it might even be using seller money to buy down your interest rate and lower your monthly payment. Now, here's the catch with this window. By the end of the year, there are fewer homes to choose from. So if you need something very specific, one neighborhood, one exact floor plan, you need that one right price range, you might not find it in December. But if you got some flexibility on location or the type of home, this stretch can be the best deal-making season of the year. And a few months earlier, that trade-off can look a lot different. A lot of summer attention goes to June, but the more practical stretch comes after the early rush has already passed. By July and August, certain homes have been sitting longer than their sellers ever expected. Price drops start showing up, and the pressure pressure on buyers starts to ease a little bit. The 2025 numbers back that up. About 5,200 new homes hit the market in July. By August, that fell to around 4,500 homes, a 13% drop in 1 month. Translation? The summer rush is fading. Sellers are getting more motivated and buyers are getting more buying power. And here's what makes the late summer super special. You still have a real pool of homes to pick from. The inventory hasn't thinned down to those December levels yet. So you get the best of both. You have a market where price drops are easier to find and there's still plenty to look at. That's why late summer makes a strong case as your starting point. One conversation with my assistant made the seasonal impact feel super real. She moved in during a slower part of the year. A few months later, she checks a comparable unit being offered in July, and the asking rent was close to double what she was paying. Same type of place, different month, double the rent. And her experience shows why your lease start date deserves way more attention than most people give. Look, Metro Denver finished 2025 with 7.6% apartment rate vacancy, the highest level in 16 years, with more than 34,000 empty units. But the real question is why should you care? Because when landlords have that many empty apartments, they start competing for you. Free rent, discounted parking, move-in incentives, but those promotions can make the advertised rate hard to judge. So here's the move. Ask for the total cost across the full lease, then divide by the months. That's your real number, not the teaser rate on the listing. That lesson came from rent. The pressure changes again when you're buying. March 2026 showed how fast this market can build momentum. New homes hitting the market jumped 20% from the previous month. Homes going under contract climbed 31%, and by the end of March, the Metro had almost 10,000 active homes. So here's what that really means. Spring is when everything shows up. The most homes and the most buyers. More inventory means better odds of finding the exact home you're targeting, but it also means less time to think because you're not the only one who saw. In March, it finished with a median closing price of $590,000. So before spring arrives, I want your payment settled and your criteria clear. That way, when the right home hits the market, we can move. We're not scrambling to get pre-approved while someone else writes the offer. Spring and early summer make the most sense when your requirements are narrow and you need the biggest selection to find your home. Waiting for a lower mortgage rate can feel like the safest move. Let me show you the actual math. At 6.55%, a $500,000 loan comes out to about $3,177 a month for principal and interest. At 5.7%, that payment drops by roughly $259 a month. So yeah, rates definitely matter, but here's what people miss. When rates drop, buyers flood back into the market. More competition, more bidding, and the negotiation power you had during the quiet stretch disappears. That's why I don't base the entire decision on a rate forecast. I'd rather run today's numbers and see whether the deal itself gives us a way to improve the payment. Depending on the situation, a lot of times we can negotiate the closing cost assistance, or what a ton of our buyers are doing in today's market is using seller-paid closing costs to buy down their rate, which lowers your monthly payment without waiting on the market to do it for you. Now, refinancing may become available later, but never treat it like a guarantee. I can't tell you how many conversations I had with clients when rates jumped in 2022 that yes, you could temporarily buy down your rate, but understand that once that temporary buy down removes itself, you're stuck with that higher rate for the rest of your 30-year loan. So look, the numbers have to make sense under the terms you're accepting today. Once the financing works, the next question I get is whether you should rent first or buy right away. I hear this constantly from people preparing for Denver. Patrick, should I rent for a year first? My response starts with one question. What will you know at the end of that lease that you don't know today? Denver is spread out. RTD covers 40 municipalities across more than 2,300 square miles, and choosing the wrong side of the metro can wreck a commute. So a lease makes sense when it actually teaches you something that changes the final decision. Job location still unsettled? That's a real reason to rent. Torn between two completely different parts of the metro? That can absolutely justify the time. But paying for 2 rounds of moving expenses can add up fast, and 12 months can disappear without making you any clearer on where to buy. And here's something a lot of realtors won't tell you. If you're only planning to be here 2 or 3 years and then cash out and move, that's not the market we're in right now, and I would totally rent. But if you're likely going to be here for longer, that's when buying becomes a much more serious conversation. So look, give the lease a specific purpose before you commit to it. Otherwise, you're just paying for another round of moving costs and ending up right back where you started. At this point, forget about finding a perfect month. Here's the framework, and it's simple. If you need something specific, one neighborhood, one home style, and one type price range, start in the spring when most homes are hitting the market. You need this selection. But if you're flexible on where and what, wait for late summer and fall when the pressure drops and the negotiation power swings to you. And if getting the best deal possible matters most, the end of the year deserves your closest attention. That's it, guys. That's the whole framework. Selection favors spring, deals favor fall and winter, and your flexibility decides which one you should chase. A house can look affordable online until every monthly expense gets added together. I want the full monthly cost calculated for that specific address. And that's what you guys should be thinking about as well. And property taxes change across county lines and special districts. For 2025 property taxes, those are payable in 2026. Denver estimates about $3,371 per year on a single family home valued at $625,000. That's roughly $281 a month. Take that same price into another county or a newer community with a metro district, and it can land very differently. So we want to review the county record and the special district charges before trusting any estimates. And then there's insurance, which needs to be quoted for the exact address itself, because the home itself and the policy structure move that cost, and a broad online estimate just won't give you guys the proper reflection for your final bill. And here's the last piece. We always do our best to make sure you have money after closing, because those unexpected expenses always show up. When working with us, that's one of the most important things we look at for our buyers. We're always wanting to get you the lowest payment possible and the most money back in your bank. And that goes for our first-time home buyers all the way up to our $1 million buyers. We're always looking for the best possible financial positions for our clients. Now, if this is helping you narrow down the decision, hit the like button so other people preparing for Denver can find this video. And now for the payoff I promised you at the start. For most people asking when the best window opens, I'd start watching closely in late summer and stay active through the end of the year. As we mentioned, July and August give you that better mix, real inventory with the pressure coming off, and then October through December can create the strongest negotiation opportunities of the year if your needs give you some flexibility. And if your criteria are narrow, start earlier in the spring while the most new homes are hitting the market. And guys, I tell our clients this all the time. Look, regardless of the market, if you can find the perfect home for the perfect payment, then it doesn't really matter what time of year you're buying, all right? My name is Patrick Laurienti. I'm a local realtor here in the Denver area, and we help people relocate here all the time, not to mention our clientele that's already living here. And we are selling and buying boots on the ground in this market, and we know it better than most. So look, if Denver is on your radar, call, text, or email us. Our information is in the description down below or on the screen. We'll help you choose a practical timeline based on your budget and the part of the metro you're considering. And keep going through our videos on the screen. We'll help you do all your research right here on this channel. Thank you for spending some time with me, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.